Cory Englehardt, welcome to the Don't Wait for Monday podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the Don't Wait for Monday podcast.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you. So for those listening that don't know us, we grew up together from Brick Township, went to elementary school together, all of the things. So maybe talk to me about where you're at now. Do you feel like everything you've accomplished and done over the last, 15 years ago now or so? Like, do you think it's a result of where you grew up? How do you feel like where we're from shaped you as a person?
I think being around the beach, the water, the close community, I think definitely shapes who you are and like what you value. I want to be less than 5 minutes from the beach wherever I'm living. I want to be in a community of people who are playing sports together and hanging out together and going out in the street, playing in a cul-de-sac. And I don't know how much, obviously it shapes you, but there's so many different experiences, so many different things that we went through as kids. You don't know what one thing is or two things are. I don't know. I don't really have any life-defining experiences.
Yeah, I feel like it just makes you more free-spirited in nature where we grew up. And like your connection to the ocean obviously has a big impact on like you surfing today and all of the things you're doing. So I don't know. I just feel like it makes us more interesting people at the end of the day. But
I agree. I think that there's a lot to be said about where you grow up in regards to like who you become, right? Because you go to the bars, like you go out to a bar in the Jersey Shore, and you can point out all the people who are from the who live down here, right? And then you can point out the people who don't live down here.
Yeah.
There's a certain vibe, a certain energy to everybody that's kind of laid back, and I don't know exactly what the word is.
Yeah, for sure. So maybe walk us through like what you're doing today, all the projects you're working on, the company you've started. Give us the 101.
So I started a video production company after graduating Monmouth University. I had been playing football in college. I was doing a lot of broadcasts for ESPN. I was doing different live broadcasts and such, and I got into the videos. I was doing the morning announcements in high school and whatnot. And so throughout college, I just loved making videos, doing the broadcast, highlight reels for the sports teams. And then I started a TikTok page, and I grew a TikTok page to 75,000 followers with our other elementary school friend, John.
That's awesome.
And when I graduated, I was like, well, I don't want to get a real job. I don't know if I can make money on TikTok. I couldn't yet. And then I just started going to local businesses and making videos for local businesses, and push came to shove, and I made an LLC, and 2 years later, we kept snowballing, and here we are now.
And what's the name of the company?
Quantum Creations.
Okay, amazing. How'd you come up with that?
Do you understand the quantum field?
I do. I'm obsessed with Joe Dispenza, so
okay.
I get it.
So it does come from Joe Dispenza, and not from Joe Dispenza, but the ideas that he has in regards to the quantum field, and that our creativity, our ideas are spontaneous. They come from anywhere, and I came up with that name because Quantum Creations, as in like it's like the spark of creation, right? And that's essentially what I want to do, is be able to spark creativity through video, through film, through cinema. So
yeah, I love that. That's amazing. He is great, and we can dive into all the meditation and visualization stuff later too. But maybe walk us through what the beginning looked like. Like, where did you get the equipment to start doing this? How did you find your first clients? What did it really look like starting your own business that's maybe not talked about enough?
So I'm fortunate enough that I'm in a good family, and my parents are willing to help me out, right? But I started the business putting everything on credit cards, right? I went to Costa Rica for a month after we graduated college, and basically spent all the rest of my money. I got back from Costa Rica, and I was less than $1,000 in my bank account, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to get a job. So I started like doing graphic design on Upwork, and eventually just like printed out a business card and walked into local businesses. And that's scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've only bought stuff from businesses.
That takes guts. Like, you're pitching yourself.
Soliciting. Yeah. You're a solicitor. So like, that was how I actually got my first couple of clients, was like walking into businesses cold and just handing out a business card. And that was terrifying. It's still scary, right?
Yeah.
But basically what that led into was, okay, some people were able to take a chance on me. I had no idea. I had media expert printed on my business card just because I had followers on TikTok. I didn't know how to make money or anything like that. But essentially, I just realized there was an opportunity, and I put my camera gear on credit cards, basically. Took out debt to just buy camera equipment, and was like, well, if I can't pay it off, then I guess I get a real job. And it started to work a little bit more and more. And then I had the opportunity to invest in some professional education because I had no idea what I was doing. So I bought into a video production community that teaches you how to like run a video production business. Another $7,500 like on a credit card. I was like, I don't know if this doesn't work right now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, and luckily I was able to be able to like implement everything that I was learning. And like more than anything else, it's like when you bet on yourself, you don't have any other opportunity. Like I had no other choice, right?
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way this is gonna fail. I'm not gonna let it fail. And it's just like what you learn along the way. You pick up these little things every day, and if every day is a successful day, right, and you're on the path to success. And if you make sure that you're doing all the stuff that you need to do every day, then you win the week, you win the month, you win the year. So it's like
inch by inch, day by day.
Yeah, because sometimes it feels like you're moving slow, you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you do have to realize like how quickly things are moving, you know?
Yeah. And when you first started, what was the first business you walked into, if you want to tell us about that?
I don't remember the first business I walked into, but the first business that I worked with that I walked into was Durazzo's Deli, La Fontana, like right down the street.
Yeah.
That was the first one I walked into.
That's a full circle moment, right down the street from where we grew up. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was like, I know your dad. And I was like, you know me too. Like, let's make videos.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. And like from there, was it mainly like you going out to clients? Like when was the first time that clients were like, oh, I've heard of Cory, and they like approached you as an inbound?
Well, sharing on Instagram and LinkedIn has been a big thing for me, and like putting myself out there. And I've started to take the mentality of like document, don't create, because I want to be able to look back at all this stuff that I'm doing now and have a record of it in the future, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm using my social media as a way to document everything that I'm doing and share it with people. And I've gotten a lot of like really high intent conversations of people coming in and just like genuinely curious about what I'm doing or like inspired by what I'm doing. And that feels awesome when there's just like, you don't even know the person. They're like, I know you through Instagram. And it's like, huh. Like that's
crazy.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a celebrity by any means. I have like 3,000 followers or less. Like,
yeah, but still.
But to be able to know that people are watching and be able to impact people like that, and then also have people coming in and like being like, hey, can we do what you're doing?
Right.
And like, can we pay you to do what you're doing? Like that feels cool.
Yeah. And do you feel like you still have that love and that passion for what you're doing, even though it's become a job? Because I feel like sometimes people want to do what they're passionate about or want to do what they love, and then it starts to feel like work, and they're like, wait, this is making me hate this. Like, do you still feel like you have that same fire, that same fuel that you had when you first started it?
To an extent, yes. And every day I try to remember to return to that, because it does feel like work sometimes, right? And when you get into a business around something that you love doing, all the other things in regards to that one thing, right? So it's like, sure, I'm in a video business, but I'm in a business, right? And it's like the invoicing, the contracts, the organization, the project management, all of that side of things, right? That's 90% of the business. The videos are really 10% of the business, right? So I do love what I do every day. And there was a time though, in last summer, we were talking when I went to Europe. So I spent 7 weeks over in Europe last summer. I was in Spain, Sicily, and then in Portugal. And a big reason I left is like my mind was scattered, and I had a lot of ideas, all the things that I wanted to do, all the things I could do, but I couldn't pick that thing to do.
Right.
Written a book. I had started to create music. I wanted to release music. I'm working on my business. I'm like also trying to be an influencer. I'm involved in like online communities, and it's like, holy shit. It's like you can't have your hand in that many cookie jars.
It's hard to be like really excellent and excel at that many things. Like maybe you can do all of them, but maybe not do them as well if you're balancing that many things. But how did you start to like figure out, okay, these are the brand, when a brand approaches you, are you thinking, okay, does this align with my values, my lifestyle, the content that I want to put out there? Or are you like really willing to kind of work with anyone if they're willing to pay you? Like how do you approach the way that you accept clients? Has it changed since maybe you first started?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was like whoever had a pen to sign a check, or it's like let's do it. Yeah. But now I'm pretty specific about the people that I want to be working with, and it's much more about values. And like if I resonate with people, I'm much more likely to actively pursue working with them. And I have a methodology in like our ICP, like your ideal customer profile is like the people who are educating or empowering the world, who are making the world a happier and healthier place, or who are building the world. So it's like people like construction and roofing and different industries like that, contracting industries like that, education, nonprofits, like that sort of thing, in the educating, empowering, and then making the world a happier, healthier place. I love working with health and wellness companies, fitness, and so I try and bucket it into one of those categories. You know, right, it's like there's some industries that don't fall under those things. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. And do you feel like as you started working with more brands and this became like a 7-day-a-week job, when was there a point that you were like, wow, I can actually make a career out of this? Like I can do this full time. Was there a turning point, a specific moment? When do you feel like that happened for you?
I think, honestly, another full circle moment. My first project, the very first project that I got was a video project with Mr. Aldiro, our elementary school gym teacher.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a minute. That's crazy.
So Mr. Aldiro went viral on Instagram. I don't know if you ever saw it. He went viral on Instagram. I feel
like I've heard about
because
this.
LeBron James commented at him, and him and LeBron James evidently were like beefing in the comments.
Wow.
And he has like a very hefty following, and not because of that, but like he had a following already, and that happened, and it boosted up even more. But he does basketball training with local kids, and like he puts on a good program and puts the kids through all the stuff that we were doing, like the crosses and stuff. And
oh my gosh, the nostalgia I'm feeling right now is crazy.
And he puts the kids through, and I was getting nostalgia as I was there doing videos with him. But he gave me $500 to do some videos. I think we did like 3 videos. I came to the gym for the day and recorded some stuff, and like I remember I don't know exactly how he paid me, but I remember seeing $500. I was like, I just made $500 in a day doing videos, not working for anybody else. I was like, I'm never getting a job. I was like, I'm never getting a job.
Amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So obviously there's ups and downs, but that was one of them.
Yeah. And as you've like become a business owner, you mentioned like some of the unsexy stuff that you have to do with like invoicing and accounting and things like that. Are there other things that you feel like business owners don't talk about, like the nitty gritty of starting a business? What's something that most people don't see or don't consider before they take that leap and start their own thing?
I think the one thing people don't consider is like, it's probably going to suck for the first couple of years, you know, like, not suck, but like you're gonna have to put the hours in, and it's not always gonna be fun, and it's like, and you're not always gonna feel like super motivated, right? But it's like at the end there's that light at the end of the tunnel, because somebody has a really good quote about it. Alex Hormozy has a really good quote about it. It's like, you can only do a couple great things in your entire life. Like there's only a couple periods in life. It takes like 10 to 15 years to get really good at something, maybe 20, right? And you graduate high school, you go to college, you have 3 periods to do great things in your life, right? So it's like in the beginning, each of those periods of doing great things, like you're probably not going to be good at that thing, right? So it's like, I think in the beginning, when you have an idea to do something, a business, right? you think you're good at that thing. Like I started my video business, so I was like, I'm great at video, so I'm going to do videos. And then you get a little bit better at that thing, and you get a little cocky, and you're like, you know what, I'm getting really good at this thing. And then the better you get, the more you realize you actually suck at that, right? So I'm like, there's so many people who are so much better than me at videos, right? And it's like you almost like turn it back on yourself, and you see the gap in regards to the people that are great, that are in that industry, that are doing the thing that you're doing. Like that inspires me more than anything, is to be like, holy. Like, look at these people who've doing it for 40 years, 50 years. Like, look how great they are.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if I had another 40 years to do this, right? It's like, you see where you're at now. But I think that's overlooked. It's like, people are like, this great new opportunity. We start this business. It's going to be great. We're going to make this much a month. And it's like, well, like, it's probably going to suck to make that much a month for a little while.
Yeah. I feel like unless you already have like so many celebrities launch brands and they're so successful right away because they have a following already, and like they have people doing the stuff that's not so fun for them. But like you said, and not enough people. Oh, you're good.
We're dropping the clipboard.
No, you're okay. But not enough people talk about like how long it takes to be good at something. And I feel like that's something I used to get frustrated with too, is when you start something new, like even just taking running, for example, like the first time I started running, I was running like 12-minute miles and it sucked. Literally every step was so painful. But like a year later, like you do 2 half marathons or you run a marathon, like something like that, and you get to the finish line and you tend to forget all that you did to get there. Like I feel like we're so quick to recognize our achievements, and then it's like, what's the next thing? Okay, what am I going to do next? So the fact that you're sticking with this is amazing, and I feel like enough people don't talk about that because it looks so glamorous from the outside. If you looked at your Instagram and saw all the great videos, you and your girlfriend traveling the world, like anyone would be like, I want that to be my life. But like you said, people don't always see everything that you're putting into it.
No, I mean, it's the highlight reel, right? Like that's the thing too, is like I mean, I'm guilty of it, right? It's like I put all the best stuff on my Instagram, and I've been trying to document stuff more, like we said in the beginning, to show all the bad stuff. But people don't want to watch it. Most of the time, people are like, that's boring, right? Whatever.
I'm here for it. I'm here for that content.
but it's you see all the people that are doing things online, right? It's like you scroll through your feed and you see the best of everybody else. And we have this weird thing where like we constantly compare ourselves, right? So you have this like social comparison. You probably heard like the social comparison, right? It's like, wow, they're doing better than me. They're making more money than me. Wow, he's a little bit more jacked than me. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Or it's wow, that guy's not doing so well. Wow, he got fat, right? And constantly we're just comparing ourselves to people, and the social media has made it so right there.
Evident.
Like
it's in your face all day.
Like what's been your experience with that? I mean, I feel like girls have a different experience with that than guys too, because like, I don't know, men are a little bit different in their comparisons than females are. And females seem to be a bit more judgmental in it.
For sure. And of other women too. And that's something I've noticed doesn't change as you get older. I always thought like, oh, after high school, after college, like girls get so much nicer and they're more supportive, which like isn't necessarily the case. But for me growing up, like something my mom drilled into us at a young age was comparison is the thief of joy. And I live by that quote. Like the second you compare what you're doing, even if you're crushing it, to like anyone else, you're taking away from that amazing thing that you've built or what you're working on, what you're doing with your life. So like you said, it's really hard though, because naturally when you see people our age, even like getting engaged, getting married, buying a house, like life milestones, you think that you're supposed to be doing that as well. So it's definitely, I feel like it's hard, maybe definitely harder for females from like the body image standpoint and just like the lifestyle that certain women, like it's hard to see all of that and think, am I doing the right thing? Like I went through that even when I was working in New York City and working like 80 hours a week, and I saw people like traveling or like freelancing and I was like, why am I doing this to myself? Like why you question everything. So it's definitely not easy. And that was my next question, is like, what is your take on social media? Because obviously now your job and making a living is like tied to posting online and having a social media presence. And I feel like I'm kind of doing the same thing where you're trying to build a brand, but where do you find that balance of like using it for your creativity and building your brand versus using it personally? Like, what's your take on social media? Because we've become so dependent on it as like a generation, honestly.
Well, you can choose to consume or you can choose to create.
Yeah.
And each person wakes up and you consciously make a choice whether you're going to consume or you're going to create, right? And there's certain people who wake up and they watch television, they scroll through reels, and they send TikTok videos to their friends, and they don't put anything out there. They might not even have a profile picture on their account, right?
Right.
And then there's other people who are creating things with intention behind it, or not intention behind it, or just like putting themselves out there, right? And my take on social media is that if you're going to be involved, like be involved.
Yeah.
Right? Like look at it as we are more connected right now than ever before. And there is like more opportunity for anybody our age to do exactly what they want to do than ever before in history.
Yeah.
Right? Like in human history, there's more opportunity right now for us to create wealth for ourselves, to create influence, to impact people in a positive way, simply because social media makes it so easy. Simply because it's more easy than ever to like actually be productive with artificial intelligence and all this technology that's like right at our fingertips, right? We carry around a smart supercomputer in our pockets. And I think that you're doing yourself and you're doing humanity a disservice if you're not actively working on those things. And you're pursuing knowledge and creating and putting out your best into the world. And yeah, I think most people, 99% of people are watching and observing from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Rather than participating themselves. I mean, what is your take? Do you have
Yeah, and I find that the people that are sitting on the sidelines are also the ones that are like sometimes judging the people who are creating. And that's why I'm like, you can't say, like, you're never going to get judgment from someone who's doing the same amount or more than you. So I live by that. Like, it obviously goes through your head like, oh, what are these people going to think about me? But like, screw that. Like, you have one life, and like you said, we have this opportunity to literally make money from your phone. Like, that our parents could never do that. Like, other generations could never do that. And you could really choose to become an expert in anything. Like, think of some of the TikTok accounts that probably generate millions of dollars just because they do something super niche, and it could be something so random and you can make money off of it. So I think it's an excellent tool when used properly. And like you said, you're not going on there and just over consuming, because I do think that social media in a way has limited our ability to think for ourselves in some capacity. And I know we'll dive into that a little bit later, but I just think people need to not take other people's opinions as like Bible, as truth, and still be able to think for themselves. So as long as you're not over consuming and taking everything you read on there as like that's the truth, I feel like that's where the fine line is kind of drawn. That's my take on it.
Yeah. And also, I mean, nobody's perfect though. It's like we all end up scrolling through the reels, and we all watch YouTube videos, and like it's fun to watch television. So it's like being able to participate it's not only creating. Like if you create all the time, then like, I don't know, you're not in touch with like what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, there is the consuming aspect of it too. And like, to be honest, like I'm addicted to my phone, and I recognize that, right? And I think a lot of people, I think everybody is addicted to their phone in some regard.
Absolutely.
And I want to change that, right? Like that.
Don't we all? Yeah. And it's about finding inspiration, I think, is what you're getting at. Like if you're scrolling and you're using that for inspiration for what you're creating or for your life, absolutely. Like there's some accounts I follow on Instagram that I actually learn so much from, or people who are living a certain way. I'm like, that is so inspiring. Like I love that. And I think when you take it from that point of view versus like, why am I not doing that, or I need to be doing XYZ, it's different. So I agree. I think it's using it A, to create, but B, to like be inspired to change your life in some positive aspect. So I feel like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and everybody has a voice, right? And like some people choose it to leave a like or not leave a like, or just put a comment on a random video, hate or love. Yeah. But like some people, you can amplify it if you actually go out there and speak.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, 100%. It all comes down to like your own inner dialogue too. And if you have the ability to not let what other people are saying or doing online affect you, then like all the power to you. You can use social media as like such a creative force and such a weapon. So I love it. I think it's brought our generation a lot more opportunity than people before us had, for sure.
And how else are you creating then?
Besides Instagram? I'm a TikToker now. So I have found incredible success with TikTok. Like the brands I've been able to work with are amazing. Like I get PR sent to me, Primally Pure. Like if you're listening, you guys know I love this brand. It's all holistic skincare. They use beef tallow in all of their products and I love them. And I don't even think I have that many followers yet. And I posted a video about them and like tagged them. And now I work with them and like earn commission off of people using my discount code, my link that they purchase things through. And they send me stuff all the time to try. So I'm getting to work with like brands that I genuinely respect. Another one, like a fluoride-free toothpaste brand. I just post online about like, I found that when you're authentic to yourself, like the right brands and partnerships are attracted to you and like you'll resonate with the right people. Like I'm very on my holistic health journey and like going to a holistic dentist, working with different people like that. So the more I was like authentically myself online, I felt that those brands and those kind of people gravitated towards me. And it's brought me so much closer to different people too that maybe I lost touch with over the years. Like it's been a really great tool. But again, like you said, it's all about just not over consuming because you can easily go on there and the algorithm will get you and scroll for hours. But I try to like every time I open the app, okay, I'm creating something and I'm going to post something if I'm going to scroll for 5 minutes or whatever it is. So that's how I look at that. The podcast has been a great outlet for creating. And then Instagram too, I feel like is just never going away. So I post on there as well. And then I'm trying to get into Substack. I love writing. So I've tried, it's definitely more long form content. So I feel like it's a little bit more difficult to be consistent with it, but I need to get back on that. It's been a couple months, but Substack is fun if you like want to write like a travel guide or a blog post about something. It's like very, I think it's gaining traction. Have you heard of it before?
Yeah, I know Substack.
Okay, yeah. So I'm trying to get into that as well. But
right on.
Yeah, that's kind of the outlets.
You used to do a lot of art as well.
I did, yes, and I'm still painting. And I had someone ask me like, why don't you sell this stuff? And I feel like if I started painting and was selling it and like had to create for people, I wouldn't love it anymore. So that's kind of like a personal practice for me. But I do love art still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you've been putting paintings to, you've been putting a brush on there and
yeah, I do. I give them to my boyfriend all the time as gifts. That's like my thing. Like I just like find things online that inspire me or like things in my life, and it is so therapeutic to not be on any electronics and just it's like taking pen to paper but taking a paintbrush to a canvas. I think it's so amazing and everyone should try it, whether you suck at it or you're good at it. It's fun.
Yeah.
You got to get new hobbies. I'm all about finding like niche things to do, especially in the winter here when you like can't be outside. So
yeah, I try and find as many things that I love to do, because if I have a lot of things that I love to do, it makes it really easy to do a different thing and be in love with it, whatever I'm doing. So every day I can pick, oh, today I'm going to go surf. Today I'm going to go ski.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's go paint today. Oh, you know what? I'm going to write today. Maybe I'll read a little bit. Maybe I'll work on my business. It's like all these things, right? And it's kind of sad when you see people who like don't have anything they love to do, right? It's
I know.
I don't know. There's some people you ask, how have you been? How have you been? You get the same old shit, and oh my god, it sends me.
I know. I'm like, wait, nothing's new.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I haven't seen you in 12 months. It's same old shit. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
And it's like, if people had something they love to do and it's like something exciting, I don't know. I feel like everybody would have more to bring to the world. More energy, you know?
And I feel like we used to. That is one thing I feel like our phones took away from us, is now when people have free time, they're scrolling, unfortunately. And like people used to think, oh, I'm going to learn how to play an instrument, or, oh, I'm going to write a book. Like there was just like more of an instinct. What am I going to do today? The options were endless. And it was usually honing in on a skill or a hobby, where now it's, oh, I'll pick up my phone, and you could get sucked in for hours. Like we're all guilty of it. It's happened to all of us. But I think about like at the end of my life, there's this quote, and I don't want to butcher it, but it's like you get to the end of your life and God, the higher power, the universe, whatever you believe in, is like, here's all of the possibilities, all the potential that you had, and all of the different avenues or paths that you could have taken, lives you could have built for yourself. And then you play back your life in 7 minutes or whatever they say happens at the end of your life. And I'm just like, I don't want to look back and think like, and have regret. I would rather full send on everything that I even have an inkling that I want to do and fail at everything than like not have tried at the end of my life. So that's just how I think about things. So yeah, I'm so busy and sometimes I stress myself out, but like you said, it's better than someone coming up to me and being like, hey, like, what are you up to? And I'm like, oh, just working. That's it. Like, I don't want that to be my story. And I feel like you take the same approach to life in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like there's so much more. And I've been trying to figure that out for myself too, because like as I'm doing my own business right now, like sometimes I get sucked in and I'm waking up at 5 and going to the gym and then I'm working for 10, 12 hours, and it's like there's no picking my head up or putting my feet in the grass like I want to be, or I tell other people to do, like,
yeah.
And sometimes I gotta listen to the stuff that I put out there on the internet for other people, It's like I say, you go put your feet in grass, go take a trip, and spontaneously right? And it's like sometimes I find myself getting in the rut of like, wow, like we're grinding, the head's down, which is like, sure, there's seasons in life, and I think there's a purpose for it, but throughout it all, like you don't want your work to be what you're remembered for. You don't want just work, right? It's like how can we find work that like lights us up, that we are super excited to do every day, that we know is making an impact, that we know there's other people behind us, that we have a team around us. Like I feel like ultimately building things like that is what it's about, more
something
or
that
less.
like lives on after you.
Yeah,
like leaving a legacy behind.
I mean, yeah, leaving a legacy, but like, I mean, that's selfish in itself, I feel like, right? Like
a little bit, yeah.
Like I've thought about that too. It's like I want people to remember my name, and it's like, yeah, but like that's just Cory talking.
Yeah,
like,
that's the ego. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do I really want that? Or
yeah.
Like I don't know, and yeah, like I don't know the ideal. Like I think it's more or less just like having good intentions with everything. If you have the best intentions, you're gonna find a means to like actually make those things come true, right? It's like having these ideas. I have a lot of ideas, all these things that I can do. I'm sure you do too. You're a creative person. So you have an idea, like this podcast is an idea. You bring it together. You think, hey, maybe somebody would get value out of these conversations. You say, hey, let me bring this together. But like we can really think on a big scale, right? Like there's some things we can put together thoughts, put together ideas, and we can go, whoa, that's like way beyond me, right? Like that requires a lot of energy, a lot of people, and like that's the type of stuff that it's like that intrigues me. It's like, how can I think so big? I need to get 1,000 people involved or 1,000,000 people involved. Like that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, that is fascinating to me too. I know, because that's what it's all about, is finding like-minded people as well. And like that's one question I have for you is like, how have you gone about building like friendships, relationships in your life that reflect your values and are uplifting and supportive of all of the things you're doing? Because you're not taking this traditional route in life. So how do you find the people to surround yourself with to build that network of people?
So I've been fortunate to build a lot of relationships, honestly, through social media and starting like seeing people interacting on there and being like, yo, let's grab a coffee, this, that, right? Taking the virtual world out of the virtual world is really interesting, because like I feel like not a lot of people do it. They just shout into the ether and then it never becomes reality, right? So I have met a lot of people, a lot of good people through social media and the internet. And I've gotten involved with networking groups, and I've gotten involved as well, like with a lot of the clients and the people that I've worked with. I've been at events and I've went to retreats, and you meet people that are on the same wavelength, right? It's like if you enjoy working out, like go to a run club and like go meet other people, right? It's like you like yoga, show up at a yoga studio that you don't know anybody and like talk to somebody in the lobby.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just got yoga certified. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so stoked. I'm excited.
So like obviously you're putting yourself out there like that. So like how have you seen that? And like you were in New York, you probably didn't know anybody. Like how were you approaching that?
Yeah, I think it's putting yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable first and foremost, but also like it's so easy to go to a yoga class, go to a coffee shop, and literally stand online and be on your phone and not interact with people. But I like almost sometimes wish I grew up in the generation where like you were sitting in a waiting room somewhere and people were talking and like having a conversation and not just scrolling on their phone. And like now, like I might sound like a dork, but when I go to the dentist office, like I'm reading a book in the dentist office, like waiting for my appointment, and it strikes up a conversation. Like someone's like, oh, what are you reading? And then I get to talk to them about it. And like having that human connection, I do think yes, technology is amazing, and like obviously that's why we're both sitting here talking about it, but like it's also created a lot less human connection. So I think it's putting yourself out there, but not just going to a new place and doing the same thing, like going to a new place and talking to people or signing up for unique experiences. Like the yoga teacher training, I met 11 new people, like new best friends that I would have never probably crossed paths with or gone to a class and just sat behind them or been behind them and like never really talked to them. So just, I think it's just seeking those out, but also I feel like they come to you when you're putting that energy out into the world as well. So it's a mix of both.
We were talking about Dr. Joe Dispenza before, and like the idea of your vibe, your vibration, right? You're going to attract other people that are in a resonant frequency with it. So it's like you're into yoga, you're going to go to Basque Yoga, and you're going to meet all these people that are in yoga teacher training, and you guys are all on the same wavelength, right? And I think that's powerful to intentionally put yourself in good vibration. To wake up every day and say, I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna be healthy today, and I'm gonna put a smile on my face anywhere I go, and you're gonna meet other people with a smile on their face, right? You're not gonna meet the glum guy that's angry at the world if you got a smile on your face. Like you're not gonna
Hopefully not.
Usually not.
No. And if you do, like hopefully you're giving off enough that you actually make their day a little bit better. Like I think it's hard because yes, you want to be around positive, uplifting people all the time, but also there's going to be people in your life that you can't just write off the relationship and maybe they're not willing to change yet. And I think that's something I learned in my teacher training as well, is like all you can do is be that example and live your life in the way that you want others to live, like leading by example basically is what I'm trying to say, and just hope that maybe they catch a little bit of the yoga bug or the positivity bug or whatever you're giving out. But I think you just have to keep shining your light. Like you can't let people dim it, even when you do encounter those glum people.
And every interaction is like an opportunity to like make somebody's day. Not that you're actively like, hey, let me make this guy smile, but it's like if you do, like you can't control what other people are doing, but you can control saying thank you when somebody holds the door for you. You can control those little things, right? And it's like, I don't know if you've had the experiences like this too, but like a lot of times, like I see people in like a service role or just kind of like a mindless role and cashier or like a gas station attendant, and they just seem down. And that kind of hurts my soul when I see these people who are like, these people are getting an hourly wage and they look upset, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like the least I could do is just like give this person a smile, say thank you, right? And like see them for who they are. It's like, let me see you. Give me a smile back, maybe.
I love it. And it's hard because I do feel like when you are that self-aware, like I'm also very empathetic. So like I do feel so deeply for those people, but like it's tough because I think if only they realize that they could turn it around, like today, tomorrow, like there is always something different you can do or some way to change your situation no matter what is going on in your life. And like Joe Dispenza talks about that all the time. Like you just have to feel the emotions that you want to be living at, or the situation, whether it's a house, a job, a relationship, anything. Like you can bring it into your life, but like you have to look at yourself first. Like, are you reflecting that? And I wish I could like go up to those people and give them like a copy of his book or something and be like, here, read this. Like you can change your life, but we also like can't fix everyone either. And I've learned that the hard way. So it's a balance.
It takes a lot of self-awareness to get yourself out of a rut like that, right?
Yeah,
and it's
for
like,
sure.
It takes the recognition of, and not that everybody in a role like that is in a rut per se, but it's like, it takes a lot to change your current reality, your circumstance, right? It takes a complete shift in your perception, because we have these contracts that we have with ourselves, right? Every day we have these agreements that we're going to act a certain way, we're going to think a certain way, right? And they're unconscious because we've been taught them our whole entire life. And a lot of these people have been so deeply ingrained with negative habits, with negative patterns in their mind. So it's like, and when I was on the TikTok account, the Being account, I posted a lot about like emotional intelligence and manifestation and mentality. I was like, just think different emotions, right? And it's like, but I was also struggling to put myself in those people's shoes, right? And I was like, they have, imagine a guy that's working at ShopRite, that's like real unhappy, pushing carts together, scanning stuff. He's 45 years old and he's never experienced anything else. And he had a tough upbringing, right? It's like his experience is so deeply rooted in him. For me to say, yo, just put a smile on your face, it's like that's not compassionate, right?
Yeah.
Like there's these, when we can turn our awareness within and see the agreements that we have, you're like, why am I acting this way? Why do I work this job? And you start asking questions. I feel like the questions start to unlock all of the different habitual patterns that we have in your mind, right? And I know you mentioned before we were getting into the meditation and whatnot. So what's your experience with that been? Obviously, you probably have meditation practice and self-awareness, emotional intelligence practices since you got into the yoga teacher training. And like, what have you experienced there when you started to, per se, turn your awareness within and stop focusing as much on a lot of the external noise?
Yeah, I will say, like, I grew up watching my mom read these meditation books, whether it's like a daily reading of some sort. Every morning, like she's on her office couch spending like 20 minutes reading these meditations. Maybe it's Journey to the Heart, the Daily Stoic, something of that nature. Like, so growing up watching her, I always gravitated towards, like, I don't want to call them self-help books because I don't really see it that way. I think of it as like more elevating your mindset books, if you will, or like changing your thinking. I like that term better because it's not necessarily that anything needs to be fixed. It's just evolving. But I feel like my freshman year of college, I kind of realized I like wasn't like most kids our age in a lot of ways. Like, I did the typical college stuff, but like I didn't enjoy like going out and drinking or like waking up hungover, and like I didn't like the gossip and doing certain things that a lot of kids at that age did. Like, I feel like I grew up always being told I was very like an old soul. So I spent a lot of time reading, and I got into reading. A New Earth was one book that like changed my life. The Four Agreements, The Courage to Be Disliked, The Secret, like all of these books that are kind of like the gateway drug into like elevating your mindset and getting into meditation and manifestation. And that was when I kind of first started dipping my toes into it. But I would say when I moved to New York City and I was living by myself, like when you become who you surround yourself with. And when it was just like me, myself, and I was working around super hardworking, smart people, I got super into meditation, and I just realized that like I could literally have anything that I want in life if I believe that I'm capable of it and if I believe that I deserve it. So I started with Insight Timer, like an app, just doing free meditations, and then it turned into like 30 to 40 minute meditations, and really unlocking people like Joe Dispenza. And Louise Hay is my tried and true. I don't know if you've heard of her before, but she has this book, You Can Heal Your Life, and then she has all of these meditations on YouTube that you can listen to, and it's literally just reframing the way that you speak to yourself and like repeating over and over again, I approve of myself is one of her favorite ones, because so many people just dislike themselves and that's why they live a certain way. So really reframing the way you think. But it was a slow journey, but I think I've always had an interest in that side of things. And like yoga, for example, is such an internal practice. I started that in high school and have done it like sporadically throughout the years, but I would say the last couple of years I got more into like mindful movement and looking internally. And when I saw the effects of it happening in my real like reality, like in the three-dimensional world, like things started happening that I was like projecting in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the way that we think about ourselves and our lives is literally what's gonna show up in front of us. And that sounds very like, I don't know, that's a long-winded answer. Let me know if that makes sense, but that's kind of how I got into it and why I still do it today, basically.
No, it makes a lot of sense, because what you become what you think about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the thoughts in our brain become things.
Yeah.
I on my vision board this year, I make a vision board every year, and I paste all the photos and the books I want to study all year, and one of the quotes on there is, the thoughts in your mind become things that you hold in your hand. And it's like, they do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I think I think a concept that is very misunderstood is like prayer, right? Yeah. People think, let me sit and let me ask God for something. Let me ask God. Let me please give me this thing, right? But prayer is not the asking. Prayer is not the asking for that thing, right? And it's like, that's not even a prayer. Like, prayer is what happens in between. Prayer is what you are actively thinking about every moment of the day, right? So it's like you could say, wow, God, please give me enough money to pay my bills for this month. But if you're asking from that place, you might just get enough to pay your bills for this month, because the rest of the day you're thinking, I'm barely gonna have enough. If you're thinking, it's the thoughts that are constant, right?
Yeah.
And it's a practice to think the right thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of willpower.
It's training. It's literally retraining your brain. And when you've spent so much time living unconsciously, like the longer you live unconsciously, the harder it's going to be to train. So I always like thank God for my mom, or like whatever deep inside me provoked me to start reading these books, because I'm like, I reframed my thinking in my early 20s, and most people don't do that until they're lying on their deathbed and they're like, oh my gosh, I could have lived such a different life. So I empower everyone to like find their own practice, and you can't force it down anyone's throat either. Like people will come into it when they're ready for it. So I just try and like spread as much of what I've learned as I can. And I feel like that's why I'm excited to teach yoga as a practice, because there's so much, we call it a Dharma talk, and it's a talk in the beginning or end of class where you're sharing some form of wisdom or some concept of yoga. And a lot, I mean, whether you're religious or not, like it's all the same. It's about living in a certain way, and you can literally have anything that you want in life if you're radiating. We're all energetic fields, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and you can shift that. But I'm curious how you got into it, all of it too, and like Joe Dispenza specifically, all of that stuff. What's your practice like? Talk to us about it.
Well, I mean, if you want to start where I got into it, is like I took a little acid in college, to be honest.
I mean, give it to us. That's the reality. Like,
I mean, it was, and I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but essentially having a couple of psychedelic experiences really opened me up to the world of energetics, and that there's so much beyond just the physical, right? And seeing that there are higher planes of existence, and there is not only just this body, right? It's like we're a mind, body, spirit, and basically detaching myself from who I thought I was is like it kind of disembodied me a bit, and I dove very deeply into the study of self-awareness, philosophy, religion, and I've studied Hinduism and Buddhism. That was what I did my thesis paper on. I got very deep into Dr. Joe Dispenza and Hermeticism. I got deep into Christian mysticism. So I began to turn my awareness in on myself and really like ask questions. And a lot of it came from journaling. I started to write stuff down, right? Like I started to just, and the way I journal, I usually just like write it. At first, I just wrote a question at the top of the page. And I was like, I don't have an answer for this. Let me come up with an answer, right? And then it's like, when you fill up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 journals with just a question and an answer, you tend to figure out a lot about yourself.
Yeah. Wait, I love that. I want to start journaling like that. I feel like I'm always trying to just write down things that happen, because I have this like deep rooted fear that I'm going to forget things, like things that I want to remember. So I feel like I'm just writing down experiences or like amazing moments or quotes that I heard, stuff like that. But I love the idea of writing down a question, because then I get to read my actual thought process from like X number of years ago. So I think that's really cool that you do that.
Yeah. So the practice of asking questions in the journal, I found to be very profound, because they're I like to ask questions that you don't talk about with people, right? It's like, I like to ask the question about like, what happens when I die? Why do I want more money? Why am I into that girl? Why am I, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you ask these questions of like, that really get down to like your morality and your emotions and your values. And it starts to build a picture like who you really are. Right. And I think that's been super powerful. And like, yes, writing real stories and stuff like that has been, I think each person has their own style, you know, of getting things out. But like, I've always been curious, and I feel like there's this curiosity that is sort of activated and honored when I can say, wow, like we have a